Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's Ace of the Airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in. Yes, it's America's Ace of the Airways. Coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, do you know what G-force means? Well, here's a hint. Have you ever been to an amusement park, ever take a thrilling ride on a roller coaster? Well, as the coaster zoomed upward at the bottom of the first hair-raising drop, you went through a 2G pullout. Well, maybe you didn't know it, but when you get that funny feeling in the stomach, your blood drained out of your brain and heart and into the lower part of your body. And right at that moment, you weighed twice as much as you normally do. It's all a little confusing, isn't it? Well, I'll try to explain it to you. You see, you weigh 100 or 125 pounds or whatever it is because of the pull of gravity. Now, when you pull out of a roller coaster dive and the gravity or G-force is 2, that means the gravity is pulling you down twice as much as it normally does. And that's why you weigh twice as much. Just try to imagine some of our Air Force pilots pulling out of a dive at 11 Gs. That puts a terrific strain on them, and the pilot blacks out, losing consciousness for a few moments, or else he has a gray out, and his eyes go dim for a short while. You know, fellas and girls, flying a maneuverable high-speed ship can be pretty dangerous, especially on a combat mission, so something has to be done to keep flyers conscious when the G-force goes way up. First, some of America's top medical men developed centrifuge machines, which spin and turn you around, creating the same conditions as in a plane in a high-power dive. From there on, the Army Air Forces conducted hundreds of tests and studied the effects of gravity on humans. In just a few minutes, I'll be back to tell you more about it, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. Returning to Lakeville on the completion of their mission in the lost Mayan city, Hop and Tank were puzzled when they learned that a mysterious stranger had been at the airport 5 times in the past 2 days looking for them. And not more than 30 minutes before their arrival, a note with a peculiarly cryptic message had been delivered. Now it is late evening. Hop and Tank are in the living room of Aunt Agatha's house with Gail and young Christopher Cross. They are all grimly silent, waiting for something to happen. Finally, as the hall clock chimes the half hour, Tank stirs restlessly.
Oh, for Pete's sake, it's 10:30 and nothing's happened.
Oh, do you want something to happen, Tank?
Well, I ain't staying up late for nothing. I could be sleeping. I'm tired.
I'm getting kind of sleepy, too.
I guess it is time you went upstairs, Chris.
Oh, no, I'm not that tired. Besides, I couldn't sleep. I've got to know what that message means.
Well, another 15 minutes, and then it's bed for you.
All right.
You know, I'm beginning to wonder if this ain't some kind of a gag. What do you think, Hop? Hop?
Huh? Oh, sorry, Tank.
Hey, why all the brain work? What are you thinking about?
The note. Tonight, Ivanov will be here.
Now, what in blazes is Ivanov? Animal, vegetable, or mineral?
That's someone's name, obviously. Gail, what did the man who came to see us look like?
Well, he was fairly well dressed. In his middle 30s, I should guess. Maybe younger.
And he didn't say why he wanted to see us?
Nope.
Is he Ivanov?
I don't know. Hop, how much longer are we going to wait?
Well, I couldn't go to bed now, frankly.
Me neither. Guess I'll go and see what Aunt Agatha's got in the refrigerator.
I'm surprised you held out this long.
Some of that roast beef we had for dinner ought to be good cold.
Well, don't make any noise, Tank, or you'll wake up Aunt Agatha.
I won't. Hey, Chris, you want something to eat?
A glass of milk, maybe.
Well, come on, then. We'll see if there's a hunk of pie left, too.
Oh, swell.
Hey, wait.
That's the front door.
Gosh, you think it's Ivanov?
Must be.
Are we going to answer it, or aren't we?
Of course.
Now, let me do it. I'm fed up with all this hocus pocus.
Now, Tank, don't start any trouble.
Come on, let's see who it is.
Okay, hold your horses. I'm coming.
All right, we'll wait here.
Yeah?
Are Hop Harrigan and Tank Tinker here?
Who wants to know?
Are they here?
Yeah, so what?
Stand aside. All right, sir. Go in.
Hey, who do you think you're talking to?
Hop, look.
Great Scott.
Well, of all things.
Ivanov is here.
Who?
So he's Ivanov.
Tell them
He is the great Ivan Ivanov.
What?
Hey, what's going on around here?
Please, quiet. I have a headache.
A headache? Joseph? Yes, Mr. Peabody? Mr. Ivanov has a headache. His pills, quickly. Yes, sir.
Hey, what is this, a parade?
Whoa, that voice.
Please, be quiet. Can't you see you're upsetting Mr. Ivanov?
I'm upsetting him.
Mr. Ivanov's pills. Oh, thank you. You there, boy.
Oh, me?
Get Mr. Ivanov some water, quickly.
Forget it. I take them straight.
Yes, sir. Here you are, sir.
I will laugh.
Same here.
Uh-huh. So, now we go down to brass buttons. Which of you is Mr. Harry Hoppigan?
I guess you mean me, but the name's Harrigan, Hop Harrigan.
Uh-huh. That does not sound musical to my ears. We change it.
What?
Hey, listen here, will you
Please,
guys...
don't interrupt Mr. Ivanov.
Then, you, the big one. You are Mr. Tank Tinker? Oh, no, but such a name is impossible.
Hey, listen, Bub, if you don't start explaining right now, your name's going to be Mud.
How dare you threaten Mr. Ivanov?
Mr. Peabody, quiet. I take care of this matter personal. Both of you, turn your faces around. Show me your profiles.
Oh, he ain't going to show you nothing.
Oh, why not, Tank?
What?
Uh-huh. Oh, Harrigan, not bad. Very good. As a matter of fact, very good.
Oh, that's a great compliment, Mr. Harrigan.
Oh, is it? Well, thanks.
That big one. Surely such a face was not born. You had a bad accident. Yes, Mr. Tinker?
That's enough from you.
Tank.
I ain't going to stand here and let him throw white.
That's a voice on my head.
Go soak it.
Please. Mr. Tinker, how many times must I remind you that you're speaking to Mr. Ivanov?
I don't care who I'm speaking to.
Tank, please, take it easy
Pop,
now.
if you don't get them out of here, so help me, I'm going to blow my top.
Mr. Ivanov, I think it's about time you did explain yourself.
What is there to explain? I'm here, yes? With Ivanov, time is money. So, Mr. Peabody, they will do.
Very good, sir.
You will take care of all details.
I've had them typed on this sheet of paper. Here you are, Mr. Harrigan.
But what...
Enough talk. Already I've spent more than 6 minutes here. Mr. Peabody, come, we go.
Yes, sir. Joseph, Mr. Ivanov is ready to leave. Start the car.
Mr. Harrigan, Mr. Tinker, goodbye. Oh, such a face.
I don't like yours neither.
That voice, oh, my head. Come, Mr. Peabody.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, just a minute there.
Hop, is the roof still on the house? Feels like a hurricane just struck.
For Pete's sake, what's that all about?
You've got me.
Let me see that paper Mr. Peabody gave you.
Oh, sure.
Who was that man, Hop, and why did everybody make such a fuss over him?
Joseph, Mr. Ivanov's pills. Joseph, start the car. You think he was Mr. Big himself?
Oh, good heavens.
What's the matter?
What? I can't believe it.
Believe what?
Hop, Tank, you're going to be movie stars.
Gail's words hit the boys like a sudden electric shock. They're left utterly speechless, staring at her with mouths agape and eyes wide as saucers. Hop and Tank movie stars? Well, there must be some mistake. We'll know if it is in just a moment, gang, so stand by. Gang, you'll remember at the beginning of Hop Harrigan, I told you how dangerous those high G pullouts were for pilots. Well, as a result of careful tests, the Army Air Forces came up with a pressure suit which automatically blows itself up or automatically deflates itself. This garment, called the anti-G suit, puts enough pressure on a flyer's legs to keep his blood circulating normally when he's under high pressure. Here's how the suit works. On the inside is a rubber framework shaped just like a ladder. The ladder is blown up by exhaust air from the plane's vacuum pump automatically. The pilot doesn't have to do a thing. And the beauty of the whole suit is that the gravity itself, when it begins pressing on the flyer, starts the air flowing into the anti-G suit. And the higher the gravity gets, the harder the suit blows up. Tests have shown that the suit permits pilots to retain normal reactions and sight in any maneuvers up to 7 or 9 Gs. The garment itself is pretty light, weighing about 4.5 pounds. One of the major tests the Air Forces has been using is the same as Follow the Leader, only in this game, a pilot without an anti-G suit tries to follow another pilot wearing one through a set of complicated dives and loops, and the flyers who are not equipped with the suits blacked out when they tried to do more than their bodies could stand. Combat reports from pursuit pilots fighting the Japs in the Pacific give lots of credit for destroyed enemy planes to those protective suits. In spite of the astounding results they've gotten already, the Air Forces is still not satisfied with the suit as it is today. Tests are still being continued. And say, gang, all these new aviation developments I tell you about are done to make the planes of the future better and safer. And if any of you want to make aviation your career, get ready now, for always remember, America needs flyers. And now back to our story. It is early afternoon of the day following Ivan Ivanov's astonishing visit. We find Hop and Gail Nolan walking across the field toward the hangar apron where the Beechcraft is parked, its engine turning over in a slow warm-up. Hop is dressed in flying clothes.
Hop, are you flying directly to Hollywood?
No, according to the instructions, we're supposed to meet Ivanov on location. They're shooting some outdoor scenes. Well, the plane looks like it's ready, but where's Tank?
Yes, and Chris. They were together last I saw them.
Maybe they're in the hangar. Come on.
You see them?
No.
Here, let me try it again, Chris.
Oh, there they are.
This better.
Oh, but maybe
What are they doing?
You bet.
Come on, let's watch them a minute.
Yeah, I'll try it again. To be or not to be? That is the question.
What's he trying to ask?
Oh,
Whether
this ought to
it's
be
the
good.
smuggler in the mines to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune,
Well, that's Shakespeare.
or to take arms against the
sea of trouble.
oh yeah, sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them.
Oh, swell, Tank, swell.
You mean it?
Oh, sure.
Look, what's all them words mean?
Oh, what is this?
Priceless.
Didn't want to be an actor, huh? Coming along just for the ride, was he?
Hey, Chris, you really think my face is so bad, like Ivanov said?
Oh, I don't pay any attention to him. He hasn't got any kind of a face to brag about himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Besides, when they put makeup on you, you won't look the same anyhow.
Thanks, you're a big help. Let me do some more acting, huh?
Oh, sure.
Where'd I leave off? Oh, yeah. Now get this. The sock finish. To die. To sleep.
That's enough, Tank. I'm dying just listening to you.
Oh, my God.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, I was just...
Yes, I know. And now, Mr. Barrymore, will you square away to take off, or do you want a couple of curtain calls? Come on, we've got to get rolling.
Okay. Hop,
Yeah?
you standing there long?
Long enough.
Well, how was I?
Clark Gable better watch his step.
And you think I got something?
What you've got, Tank, will set the movie industry back 20 years.
Fine pal you are.
Oh, never mind, Tank. I thought you were very good.
So did I, Tank.
I know you're so sick by me.
Come on now, pile in.
Okay. Come on, Gail. Seeing you.
Bye, Tank.
Be good, Chris.
I will. And write to me, will you, and get me some autographs?
You bet.
Okay, Gail, here we go again. Don't forget the Army courier will be here this afternoon.
Yes, I'll get in the briefcase. Good luck, Hop.
Thanks. I think we'll need it. Chris, help Gail take care of the airport, will you?
Oh, sure thing. So long.
So long. All set, Tank?
Yep.
Okay. Release the brakes.
Let her go.
With a final wave of his hand to Gale and Chris, Hop opens the throttle and taxis out to the head of the runway. There, after a quick engine check, he turns into the wind, and with the engine singing a song of power, the plane roars into the takeoff. Tank settles back in his seat, peers ahead into the western sky, and shouts,
Move over, Gable. Give us room. Harrigan and Picker are on the way.
And so another action-packed adventure begins. So be sure to tune in and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways, coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, I'll bet you've all seen drawings of some of our newest jet planes showing gigantic columns of flame spouting out of the tailpipe. Most people are sure a jet ship in flight looks exactly like a 4th of July rocket. Well, that's not true. Next time one of your friends tries to tell you about flaming jet planes, tell him it just isn't so. Scientists are striving to make the turbojet engine as safe and practical as possible as a source of power for high-speed airships. And not only must flames be kept from streaming out of the tailpipe, but flame in extremely high temperatures should not even reach the whirling blades of the turbine wheel on the inside of the engine. Sometimes, in starting or picking up speed, flames momentarily singe the wheels, but that shouldn't go on for too long. If the turbine wheel is kept under high temperature for any length of time, the metal of the blades or the discharge tube may melt away. Another good reason why flames must be kept away from parts of the jet engine is the cheap metal is used in making it. Even though special metals are used, they soften or buckle under high temperature. Originally, when engineers were planning the turbojets, they knew something had to be done about flames playing around the engine. They figured that extra air must be fed to the flame to cool it down to a temperature that the metal walls could stand. And the engineers figured that extra air would make the flames disappear entirely, leaving only hot air to run the turbine that gives power to the jet. In just a few minutes, gang, I'll be back with more interesting information about new jet developments, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. A high afternoon sun burns out of a cloudless sky, its rays gleaming on the wings of a speedy Beechcraft biplane roaring over the plains of Arizona. Its shadow, clearly outlined on the sun-baked land below, skims over sand and rock, through scattered mesquite bushes and clumps of stunted trees, then is lost in the deep, gloomy recesses of the Grand Canyon, only to reappear and leap the turgid waters of the Colorado River a few minutes later as the plane streaks across the border into California. In the cabin, Hop and Tank check their aerial maps closely against the ground below.
Well, we ought to be getting close to the location, Camp, don't you think, Hop? Yes, it's somewhere south of the town of Crucero.
You know, I don't get it. Why are they making a movie way out here? I thought they was all made in Hollywood.
Well, this one's supposed to be a big Western spectacle.
A Western? With horses and cowboys, you mean?
Uh-huh.
Then what do they want to use planes for? They didn't have no planes in them days.
Well, this is a modern, up-to-date Western. And to answer your first question, they can't take pictures of a herd of cattle or a squadron of planes in the studio. So they come out into the open. On location, it's called.
Oh. Well, I kind of like Western. Hey, wait a minute. I ain't going to have to ride no horse, am I?
Well, that depends on the director.
Me and horses don't get along so good.
Maybe Dixie Davenport will let you ride her horse, Sequoia.
Sequoia? The famous movie horse? He's going to be in our picture?
Uh-huh. So's Dixie.
Boy, that's great. I always did want to see that horse close up.
How do you like that? Half the fellas in the United States would give their eye teeth to meet Dixie Davenport, and all you're interested in is her horse.
Hey, look, how come you know so much about all this?
Hey, you didn't think I'd fly out here before I checked everything first, did you? Heads up now.
I don't even know what a location camp looks like.
Neither do I, but keep looking. We'll find it.
Hey, what's that?
What?
Out there, ahead and to the right. 2 o'clock.
Big cloud of dust. Let's have a look.
Funny the way it's traveling. Looks like a rocket exhaust. Hey, I see him now. It's a bunch of cattle. Must be hundreds of them.
Hey, you're right.
What are they running like that for?
Something must have scared them. Hey, Tank, look.
Where?
In front of the herd, someone riding a horse.
Fine place to go riding. Hey, that guy's flirting with trouble.
Tank, he isn't flirting. He's in trouble.
Huh?
Hang on, I'm cutting over.
What's the idea?
The herd's stampeding. He's caught in front of them. He can't get away.
Oh, murder. That horse should take a spill now. Goodbye.
Brace yourself. We're going down.
What do you think you're doing?
We're going to break it up if we can. Buzz the herd.
Holy cow. Hop, we're getting close to the ground. Watch it, will you?
We're going to skim the deck.
We'll be under it in 2 seconds. Pull out.
Here goes.
Oh, murder. I can count the pebbles on the ground.
We're going at them. Head on. Stand by now.
They ain't breaking.
Now, we passed the rider. Now we'll rev the engine. Is it working, Tank?
Yeah. That cows are doing somersaults trying to get out of the way.
Good.
Hey, watch it. We're going right through that cloud of dust.
Close your eyes. Don't breathe.
Get the stick back. We're too close to the ground to be flying blind.
Roger.
Through. That's better.
Tank, see if the ride is all right.
Cut back a little, will you? All I can see is cows.
Check.
Boy, we sure made a mess of that herd. Somebody's going to have a sweet job rounding them up again.
Yeah, there he is. Tank over that way.
Ah, he got away all right.
Hey, it's not a man. It's a girl.
Huh?
Yeah, she just took her hat off. Look at that long hair.
Oh, what do you know?
Hey, look over there, Tank. A bunch of cowboys riding out to her.
Fine time for him to show up.
They're waving at us. Well, the situation seems to be under control now. Let's get back on course.
Hey, what's the matter with the engine?
Great Scott, it's conking out.
Open the throttle wide.
That's no use. Must have picked up a load of dust and dirt. It's all choked up.
We better sit down fast.
We're going to. Give me wheels and flaps, quick.
Wheels down. Flaps down. Sure hope that field is level.
Seems to be. Stand by.
Them cows better get out of the way or there'll be hamburger.
Going in. Brace yourself.
We're down. Nice going.
Now spot the cattle for me. Hit one of them and we'll crack a wing spar, sure.
Okay, all clear. They're shying away.
Good. And we just made it, too.
Phew, that was a tight squeeze.
Go on. Pile out.
Them cows are still jumping around pretty wild.
Now, keep your eyes on them.
Hey, look. Here come them cowboys we saw.
Oh, good. Maybe they can help us out.
At least they can do it. We saved that girl for them. Gosh, ain't it something the way they ride? Real Western cowboys. Oh, boy.
They don't seem too happy to see us.
Huh?
Look at him. Big fellow in front, especially. He's mad as a hat.
Well, why?
Find out soon enough. He's getting off his horse.
Gosh, one drink of water, ain't he? He's even bigger than me.
Oh, we got a couple of smart hombres here, huh? Think you're pretty good scaring that herd. Just a couple of jokers.
Hey, now,
huh?
wait a minute, mister.
Wait a minute, nothing. Come on, boys, let's take care of these wiseacres.
Hey, what do you think you're going to do?
I don't think, partner, I know. By the time we're through, your crate will be in splinters, and you'll wish you'd never been born. Come on, boys.
At the burly Howellhand's command, the circle of men begins to close in around Hop and Tank. And they, after a quick puzzled look at each other, stand firm and prepare to fight it out, even against overwhelming odds. What is the meaning of this sudden surprise attack? We'll know in a moment, gang, so stand by. Just a few minutes ago, gang, I told you about some of the problems our engineers ran into when they were planning the turbojet engine. And I also mentioned how misleading some of those jet plane drawings are when they show flames spouting out of the tailpipe. You see, all the flames are supposed to be inside, deep inside the engine frame. As little heat as possible should come out of the tailpipe because it would either melt or bend the outside metal parts. If our present-day jets were perfected, there wouldn't be much heat or flame coming out, but they're still at the stage where there are many wrinkles that must be ironed out. On paper, jet engines are supposed to run at a cool temperature, but until recently this hasn't been so. That's why the life of our jets has been short, and their upkeep so costly. But there are better days ahead, according to one of the top engineers of the Bendix Company at South Bend, Indiana. He tells about a new Bendix development that gets a jet plane off to a cool start. And better still, the new device regulates the fuel feed in such a way that a pilot can open the throttle rapidly at any speed or altitude without creating dangerous temperatures. That's an important victory for American research engineers in the battle to keep hot flames deep within the heart of the jet engine. Step by step, all the problems that once seemed impossible to solve are being conquered. And with every forward stride, America's air power gets stronger and stronger. Every little improvement on plane design or engine strength brings the day closer when giant jet transports will be streaking across the sky, carrying passengers at freight at unbelievable speeds. And always keep this in mind. If you want to be a part of America's aviation future, there will be a place for you. So get ready to take your place in the sky. And always remember, America needs flyers. And now back to our story. Forced to come in for an emergency landing after having apparently saved a girl's life by diverting a herd of stampeding cattle, Hop and Tank were astonished when they were suddenly surrounded by a group of cowboys who advanced on them angrily, led by a huge, unshaven cowhand who threatened,
By the time we're through with you, your cradle will be in splinters, and you wish you'd never been born.
Hey, what is this? Where do you get off talking like that? We saved that girl's life, didn't we?
Saved her life? What's the matter? You a wise guy? We were right in the middle of shooting her, and you stick your noses into what don't concern you.
Shooting her? Hop, did you hear that? They was trying to kill her.
Come on, boys, let's mount, brother.
Okay, you guys, come and get it.
What's that?
Hop, it's the girl.
Great Scott.
You know her, Hop?
That's Dixie Davenport. Well, Tank, what a couple of dopes we are. Dopes?
What?
What's going on here, Ted?
I was aiming to teach these hombres a lesson, Miss Davenport.
Hop, you mean
They ruined
she's
that
the
last
Dixie
cage, and
Davenport
we're
from the
gonna have
movie?
one
Yes,
sweet
and we've
time
really
rounding
messed
up that
things
herd
up, but
again.
good.
Well, you just lay off, Tex. You're a little too free with your fists anyhow.
Well,
Now, look, what's this all about? Why did you dive on that herd? Oh, why, you're Hop Harrigan, aren't you?
That's right, Miss Davenport.
And you must be Tank. Tank Tinker.
Yeah, but how did you know who we was?
Well, you're not exactly unknown, Tank. I've seen pictures of you in the papers so often. That was quite an entrance you two made.
Sorry, Miss Davenport. I didn't realize
Oh,
that
of
you were...
course, how could you?
now wait a minute, Miss Davenport. You ain't going to let these hombres go, are you?
Yes. In case you don't realize it yet, Tex, they're going to be in the picture.
What? Couple of dudes?
Tex, that's enough. Now get to work and round up those steers.
They mess everything up, and I have to do all the dirty
And
work.
not another word out of you, Tex.
Okay. Come on, boys.
Miss Davenport, I'm terribly sorry, but I didn't realize you were shooting a scene.
Oh, forget it. But watch out for Yvonne.
Ivan. Oh, the director, Ivan Ivanov.
Hey, where is he? And where are all the cameras and things?
Up on that ridge there, way over to the left. They were shooting long range. Yvonne was on the ridge, but I imagine he's on the way down here right now, tearing his beard out by the handful.
Oh, brother. Great way to bust in the movies.
Oh! Step on my foot, will you?
Hey,
I'll
what's
fix you.
What? What's
That'll
Tex?
teach you to
He's beating your horse.
Tex! Tex, stop that! Stop that! Leave Sequoia alone!
Like blazes, I will.
He's a dirty rat.
Come on, Tank.
Tired of pampering this hay-burner. He needs a lesson.
Stop it!
Hey, you drop that whip.
Oh, yeah? Make me.
Pleasure, pal.
That's it, Tank! Give it to him!
Why, you low-down horn toad, I'll fix you. Just try it.
Oh, Hop, will Tank be all right?
Sure, he knows how to handle himself.
Come on, you trump one. I thought you could take it.
I'll show you.
Oh, Hop, look!
Tank, he's got a knife. Look out! Momentarily thrown off balance by his opponent's sudden charge, Tank stands helpless as a knife gleams in the burly cowhand's fist. A deadly fight is a strange beginning for a new venture. How will it end? Gang, there are thrills and action ahead, so don't fail to listen to the next surprising episode. Tune in and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, sailing 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways. Coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Boys and girls, planes are getting so huge that instruments have to help the pilot and navigator do their jobs. And one of the most exciting of these instruments is the new automatic pilot the Army is putting on all its latest high-altitude bombers. It's called the E-6 and was developed especially for the Army Air Forces by the Minneapolis Honeywell Regulator Company. Chances are that the oil heater thermostat on your living room wall was made by that very same company. The thermostat is a sort of autopilot, too. It controls the heat of the furnace safely and accurately without paying any attention to it at all. The new E6, of course, is a little more complex than your thermostat. Because of it, a plane can cross an ocean without a single human hand touching the controls. That's enough to make a pilot feel like Superman himself, isn't it? All he has to do is touch a button, and the E6 will take him quickly and safely to any part of the world. The autopilot is electronic, and is so fast and strong it can hold those big new Boeing B-50s on a line so straight you could probably only match it with a ruler. Ordinarily, a plane going, say, between New York and Chicago, a distance of 900 miles, might actually travel over 1,000 miles because the plane goes up and down in the air besides going straight forward. This is because the pilot can't keep on an absolutely level altitude. Well, the automatic pilot can, and it saves countless gallons of gas and precious time because of it. You can easily see why when I tell you that it can make more than 300 flight corrections a minute. That's more than 5 a second. More later, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. Surprised and more than a little excited at the offer of starring roles in a motion picture being filmed out west, Hop and Tank began their new venture on the wrong foot. Flying over open rangeland in eastern California, they scattered what appeared to be a herd of cattle stampeding a lone cowgirl. On landing, as a result of engine trouble, the boys discovered they had interfered with the shooting of a scene in the very movie in which they were to take part. To cap the climax, an instinctive dislike between Tank and a burly, unshaven cowhand by the name of Tex Regan broke out into an open fight. As Hop and Dixie Davenport, the movie star, watched on the sidelines with a group of extras, a knife flashes in Regan's hand.
Hop, look.
Tank, he's got a knife.
Try to sew me up, will you? Ow!
Tank,
you ain't fixing nobody, wise guy. Oh, my arm! Twist it clear off. You don't drop that knife. All right, I'll rub it.
Hop, how did Tank do it?
The Army didn't teach us judo for nothing.
Now, you punk, this is for the knife. This is for beating a horse. And this is because I don't like your mud.
Tank knocked him off.
And how? Nice going, boy.
I was just getting warmed up.
Warmed up. Heaven help anyone who really makes you mad.
Hey, look out. There's a car coming, and fast, too.
Oh, now you're in for it, I'm afraid.
Huh? Why?
It's Ivan Ivanov, our director. He must be furious because you broke up the scene.
Uh-oh.
One side, everyone. One side, please. Mr. Ivanov is here.
Oh, there's that little pipsqueak again.
He's Mr. Peabody, Ivan's assistant.
Yes, we've met him.
One side, please. Clear the way.
Where's the police escort?
Good luck, boys.
Thanks.
Oh, what is going on here, if I may be so boldly as to ask?
Well, Mr. Ivanov,
And what is that man doing there lying on the ground? Mr. Peabody.
It's Tex Regan, Mr. Ivanov, the man you put in charge of the cattle.
I do not care who he is or what he is. Tell him he should sleep on his own time. I do not hire him to take fiestas.
Why, I believe he's unconscious.
Mr. Ivanov, I can explain
You
everything.
can explain, and who are you?
Well, I'm Hop Harrigan. You wanted me and Tank to act in your movie.
Harrigan? Mr. Peabody.
Yes, Mr. Ivanov, you hired them yesterday. This must be their airplane, sir.
Oh, so it was you. You imbeciles, blockheads. Hundreds of feet of film, thousands of feet wasted. I get cows, hundreds of cows. I spend 3 days preparing, and you play a ring around the hopscotch with your airplane and ruin everything.
Well, I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Ivanov.
Ivan, it wasn't Hop's fault.
Please, Dixie, darling, let Ivanov handle this.
Ivan, please listen.
Ivanov only listens to Ivanov. Now you, take your airplane and fly or fire.
But, sir, with...
Ivanov has spoken.
Okay. Come on, Tank.
What do you mean, come on? You gonna let that bag of wind talk to you like that?
Bag of wind? Bag of wind, he calls me? Why, you, Mr. Peabody, the bicarbonate, oh, my ulcers.
Yes, sir, here you are, sir.
You and your ulcers. Maybe you'd like the same treatment I gave that guy.
Easy, Tank.
So, you knocked out Mr. Regan. Enough is too much. Get out of my sight. Mr. Peabody, my headache powder.
Yes, sir.
Oh, why does everything happen to Ivanov? Stop it! Stop it! I cannot hear myself think!
Oh, it's Max Swain, sir, the head cameraman on the North Ridge.
Oh, what have we done now?
Mr. Ivanov.
Mr. Max Swain, I heard you the second time. Do not make so much noise.
But, Mr. Ivanov, those shots were terrific, sensational.
What are you talking about?
The shots of the plane diving over the herd. Why, nobody in Hollywood's ever gotten footage like that. It was tremendous.
Oh, it was good?
And how, sir?
You got it all?
You bet, from the beginning right through to the landing.
Uh-huh.
But you should have told me this morning, sir. It wasn't in the shooting script. I almost missed it.
There was no time to tell you, Mr. Max Swain. It was an inspiration. When Ivanov has inspiration, it happens.
do you like that?
Tank, don't spoil anything now.
But he didn't have nothing to do with it.
Don't tell anybody.
Mr. Harrigan, my compliments. The maneuvers were executed perfectly. I could not have done better myself.
I'll say you couldn't.
Tank. Well, then we're not fired, sir?
Fired? What fire? Who says you are fired? You live here over Ivanov's dead body.
Oh.
What is that horrible noise?
Oh, it's Mr. Regan, sir. Mr. Tinker assaulted him.
Tank, watch your temper.
Oh,
It was Tex's fault, Ivan. He was beating Sequoia.
beating your horse, darling?
Yes, and I won't stand for that. You've got to get rid of him. I won't put up with him any longer.
Sophie, my darling Sophie.
Where's he? Where's that sneaking sidewinder?
Right here, you big ape.
Tank, cut it out.
One moment. When Ivanov is here, there will be no fighting.
Listen, Ivanov. He's gonna work in this picture, I quit. It's him or me. This state ain't big enough for the both of us.
Oh, ultimatums you're giving Ivanov?
You heard me. He goes or I go.
Mr. Regan, goodbye.
What?
We will do without your services. Go mangle your cattle somewhere else.
You can't do that to me. I got a contract.
Mr. Peabody, pay him what we owe him, and he is through.
Yes, sir.
You won't get away with this, Ivanov.
Ivanov has spoken. So go, saddle your horse and gallop.
Okay, if that's the way you want to play it. But I ain't through with you, Ivanov. Or you, fat stuff.
Oh, fat am I?
Tank, stop it.
I'm going to take care of you, too, all of you. You're not going to forget Tex Regan. Not by a long shot.
His coarse features twisted into a mask of cold, venomous anger, the hulking cowhand strides away, leaving the group suddenly quiet, chilled by his threat. Just what can he do to harm the boys and the movie? We'll learn more in a moment, gang, so stand by. The E6, or automatic pilot I was telling you about at the beginning of Hop Harrigan, is based on the C1 pilot, which was also developed by the Minneapolis Honeywell Regulator Company and was standard equipment on all the B-17s, B-24s, and B-29s in the war. But the new autopilot can do a lot of things never before possible. For example, it has a special emergency engage button right on the control wheel that's one of the slickest safety features ever developed for aircraft. Now, here's how it works. Let's say a bird crashes through the windshield, or smoke, anti-aircraft fire, or anything else temporarily incapacitates the flight crew. Well, all the pilot has to do is hit that button, and the plane will instantly go into straight and level flight. Even if the ship is in a stall or heeled over in an 80-degree bank, the emergency engage will smoothly and quickly take over the controls and put the plane in safe flying position until the trouble can be corrected. Now, because the E6 is electronic, almost any type of flight or power control can be added to it. All in all, gang, the autopilot is a great deal more than a gadget which flies a plane on any given course. It really is a whole flight control system which was developed to relieve pilots of the necessity of manually flying their planes so that they can have more time to act in a supervisory capacity. The new planes being built today are so big, fast, and complex that some automatic means had to be developed to handle the hundreds of details involved in holding the huge ships on their courses. Because of equipment like the E6, aviation is being made easier and safer for the flyer every day. And always remember, America needs flyers. And now back to our story. It is early evening, and the flat rangeland is bathed in the silvery glow from a half moon high in the east. The location camp is ablaze with light from many tents and prefabricated buildings, but Hop and Tank are leaving the lights behind them as they walk with Dixie Davenport into the darkness beyond the camp.
Where are you taking us, Dixie?
I want to show you something I think you'll find interesting. It isn't far.
Huh?
Well, tell me, how do you like movie life?
Oh, I can't say yet. Wait till tomorrow when we really go to work.
You two certainly had an eventful introduction into the business.
Oh, I'll say. Mr. Ivanov is quite a character, isn't he?
Character? Gosh, he murders English worse than I do.
Oh, we don't even notice it anymore. He's an excellent director and a fine man personally. Don't let his manner throw you. It's an act. If he likes you, he'll give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah, I thought as much.
Well, what about that Regan guy? Can he really do something?
I honestly don't know. Yvonne hired him for this picture because he was supposed to be an excellent hand with horses. I thought he was unnecessarily cruel to them. And then there was some talk about a herd of wild horses somewhere in the hills. Tex said he was the only one who could find them. but that's all washed up. I'm glad he's gone.
He's a pretty rough customer.
I took him down a peg or two.
Which he didn't like one bit.
Oh, well, forget it. Here we are.
Hey, ain't that a C-47?
Mm-hmm. A reconverted Army transport.
What's it doing here?
It's Sequoia's home.
Huh?
Come on inside. I'll show you.
You mean you keep your horse in a plane?
Yes. You see, between pictures, I ride in rodeos, and I like to get around in a hurry, so we use a plane. It's better for Sequoia, too. Watch your step on that ramp.
Oh, thanks. But I didn't know you flew.
Oh, I don't. I have a pilot, Joe Bell, who doubles in brass by taking care of Sequoia for me. Ah, hello there, boy. How are you?
Oh, brother, what a horse.
Is everything all right? Are you comfortable?
He's glad to see you.
I've raised Sequoia from a colt, taught him everything he knows.
You know, I bet he's the most famous horse in the United States.
Oh, he is.
Boy, this is some layout you got in here.
Yes, I had it built especially with the stall in the center of the fuselage so Sequoia won't be bumped around too much. Then in the tail is the storage space for the saddles and tack.
Yeah, and you got a bunk up here, back of the flight compartment.
Oh, Joe sleeps in there.
He isn't around.
I gave him the night off. Well, what do you think of it?
Oh, very neat. Oh, thanks for showing us around, Dixie, but we better be getting along now. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, it's a date. Good night, Hop.
Night, Dixie.
Good night, Hank.
So the boys head back to their tent to get a good night's sleep. And as they do, several miles to the north, in the town of Crucero, trouble is brewing. In a small saloon, Tex Regan sits talking steadily to a short, stockily built man who stares in silence at his half-empty glass.
Seems to me like we can do business, partner. I want to get that Davenport gal. I want to fix her good. Her and all the rest of them moving mavericks. And you can help me. You'll cut yourself in for a nice hunk of change, too, because I got an idea how we can rail it cash in. Throw in with me, and you'll be sitting on top of the range. So how about it, eh? Come in with me, and we'll both do plenty good for ourselves.
The man opposite Tex continues his silence for a moment. Then he looks up, nods his head in agreement, and drains his glass in one gulp. Who is he, and what is Regan's plan?
Gang, there's action and suspense ahead, so don't miss our next episode. Tune in and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airwaves. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine.
Alright, everyone, that is the end of the first half of the listen-along. Have your 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Cool. See you in 5 minutes. Bye, guys. Yeah, music, yeah, music. Oh, I'm live. Oops. Well, 5 minutes is up. Yay. Back to the thingy. Yay. Hop Harrigan. Woo.
Setting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airwaves.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan. Coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways. Coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, today I want to talk about the testing of Boeing's new jet bomber, the XB-47. This new Stratojet has about as unconventional a design as you'll find on any airplane. From the tips of its swept-back wings to the bottom of its bicycle-type landing gear, the XB-47 is new and different. And since the XB-47 will be the backbone of our future Air Force, the top brass assigned 2 test pilots to the ship from the very first day the blueprints were started. The 2 pilots, Bob Robbins and Scott Osler, worked alongside design engineers every step of the way and followed the production from the first rivet to the final factory inspection. Just a few days ago, both Robbins and Osler stood quietly and confidently at the fringe of a huge crowd gathered to watch the unveiling of the new Stratojet. They were ready to take over the ship. They'll be the first to take America's newest jet bomber off the ground. For them, the rollout came after a long wait. It's been a whole year since they officially accepted the job of flight testing the high-speed experimental plane. And they've been studying everything there is to know about jet planes. And believe you me, they're ready. It will probably be another month before the Stratojet takes to the air, but it'll be a busy month, full of engine tests, taxi runs, and endless and careful inspections. But when flight day comes, Robbins and Osler will be as carefully prepared as possible, and confident. In just a few minutes, gang, I'll be back to tell you more about these highly rated test pilots, so don't forget to listen. And now to our story. Given feature parts in a new Western movie being filmed on the open rangeland in eastern California, Hop and Tank started work the morning after their arrival on location. As we join them now, it is early afternoon, and they are circling high over the camp in their Beechcraft, standing by to shoot another scene. Tank is still dazed by the events of the morning.
So this is how they make movies.
Oh, what's the matter? Don't you like the work?
That director Ivanov, he makes me nervous.
I can understand that, Tank.
Why does he yell so much?
I guess that's how he reacts to your acting.
Well, doggone it, I never said I was an actor, did I?
No, but you always have to keep looking at the camera and making faces.
I wasn't making faces. He said we were supposed to be worried on account of Miss Davenport fainted, so I was trying to look worried.
You looked like you had a stomach ache.
Oh, lay off. Hey, what's holding up the parade? How long do we have to keep circling?
Until we get the signal from the ground that they're ready to go. Now, do you know what you're supposed to do?
Yeah. As soon as you start diving, I drop the rope ladder and climb down to the bottom. You swing the ship over Miss Davenport's horse. I lean down and pick her off and climb up with her again.
Check.
Well, look, what do I do about them cowboys riding behind her, shooting at us?
Nothing.
But they might hit us.
With what? They'll be using blanks.
Oh.
Now keep your eye on that pass between the hills there. That's where Dixie will make her entrance, and she'll ride straight across the field, with the cowboys about 100 yards behind her.
Hey, I just happened to think.
What?
This is going to be tricky. What if I fall off the ladder?
You can't if you tie that safety belt around the bottom rung the way you're supposed to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but what if I drop Miss Davenport? What then?
You better not, chum.
Oh, gosh, now I'm getting scared.
It's too late for that. Look, there's the flare. They're ready to start shooting.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, watch that pass. As soon as you see Dixie ride out, open the door and drop the rope ladder.
Are you going to be able to fly slow enough so I can pick her off?
I'll be right down to stalling speed, so work fast.
Oh, and I thought movies was a cinch. Hey, there she is.
Get to work. I'll lose altitude.
Okay, ladder's down.
Keep watching her. When she passes the large rock, climb out on the wing.
Yeah. Here come the other guys. Boy, look at them ride.
You keep your eyes on Dixie.
She's still got a couple of 100 feet to go. Hey,
What's the matter?
another horse just swung in with the rest of them. He came out from behind a clump of trees, part way up the hill.
Oh, one of the extras must have missed his cue. Okay, on the ball. Climb out.
Here goes.
Remember, Tank, hook your safety belt around the ladder as soon as you get to the bottom.
Don't worry, I will.
Down to 500 feet. Get moving.
On my way.
From hidden vantage points on the ground below, a dozen movie cameras grind out hundreds of feet of film, and Hop dives his plane earthward. With an anxious look at the onrushing ground, Tank begins the dangerous descent of the swaying ladder as Dixie Davenport, racing across the field on Sequoia, prepares for the tricky maneuver. 30 feet from the ground, Hop levels out and chops back his throttle, guiding the plane closer and closer to the beautiful young movie star, just as Tank manages to hook on his safety belt.
Come on, Miss Davenport. Contact.
Closer, Tank. Closer.
I can't.
Steady, Sequoia. Steady.
Hurry up or Hop will stall out.
All right. Now.
Made it.
Hold me, Tank. Hold me.
I got you. You can grab the ladder now.
Okay, but you have to carry me up, you know.
I will. But I gotta unhook the safety belt first. There. Now, relax. I'll swing you over my shoulder.
You ready?
Uh-huh. Here it goes. Oh, good for Hop. He's opening her up.
Careful, Tank.
We'll be okay now. Boy, I'm awful glad those guys are shooting blanks. We'd be sitting ducks out there.
Make it look good, Tank. Remember, the cameras are picking all this up.
Trying my best, but there must be an easier way to make money. Tank! Tank! Yeah? Everything all right? Yep. Okay now, Miss Davenport. I'm going to sling you up on the wing. You ready?
Yes.
Grab hold of that handle there.
I have it.
Okay, Tank, come on. I am. There. What do we do now?
Lie flat on the wing. Put your arm around me as if you were holding me down.
Check.
Now, don't forget, Hop. You have to circle around and fly in front of the cameras.
Later.
What?
Hop, what are you doing? Hang on tight.
Hop, you're going the wrong way.
Keep your eyes on those cowboys.
Hey, what's the idea? You're messing up the whole shot.
Can't help it. Hey, look. One of the men's riding for the hills.
So what?
I'll cut over him. See if you recognize him.
Hop, I don't understand.
You will in a minute. Recognize him?
I can't see. He's got his hat pulled way down over his face.
I know who he is.
Who?
Tex Regan.
Tex Regan. Are you sure, Dixie?
Of course I am.
Okay, hold on. We're going back.
Hey, Hop, what's he doing in the picture? Ivanov fired him yesterday.
He made a couple of threats before he left, remember?
So?
So he's trying to make good.
Hop, what do you mean?
Look at the fuselage, aft.
Hey, it's full of holes.
Regan horned in on the scene and shot at us while the extras did. Only his gun was loaded with live slugs. What?
Oh, no, Hop, he couldn't.
He did, and there's the evidence. Looks like our pal Regan really means business.
Hop's face is clouded with worry as he guides the plane back to the landing strip near the location camp. So Tex Regan's first attempt at revenge could have had fatal results. How and when will he strike again? We'll know in just a moment, gang, so stand by. Now, gang, more about the Boeing XB-47 test pilots. Robbins, who is 31, began flying in 1934, and the other test pilot, 29-year-old Scott Osler, started jockeying around space in 1939. Both men are graduate aeronautical engineers with long experience on commercial transports before coming to Boeing. Before the Stratojet assignment, Robbins did wartime work on some of the hottest experimental ships of the Army Air Forces. He made more than 250 flights on a ship called the Guinea Pig, which later turned out to be the first research plane for the whole family of B-29s which followed. His work had a lot to do with getting that plane into production. Osler, too, was on the B-29 test program during the war and later switched to testing other ships for the armed forces. Between the two of them, they have almost 12 years' experience in flight testing new Boeing planes. But even two great flying records like that wasn't good enough for work on the XB-47. They had to undergo special training courses before they could be ready to... At fields all over the nation, both men took turns at the controls of jet planes, putting in many hours familiarizing themselves with high-speed flight. They also had to go through the pilot ejection seat course, shooting out of a tower and floating to Earth by parachute. They took every possible bit of advanced training for the job they're now facing. Well, all that training is behind them now, and the rest is up to test pilots Robbins and Osler. And say, gang, just as their job is to test the new Stratojet, your future job may be in the air. If you like aviation, get ready to take your place beside the flyers and technicians of tomorrow. For always remember, America needs flyers. And now back to our story. Returning to the location camp, Hop and Tank reported Tex Regan's murderous attack, and then, at Ivanov's order, retired to their tent to study their lines for the next day's shooting. Early in the evening, they're still at it.
Oh, doggone it, Hop. How many times do you want to go over this? I'm hungry.
I told you, no dinner until you get these lines down cold.
I can't remember nothing on an empty stomach.
No lines, no food.
Okay, let's get it over with.
You have the first line. Go ahead.
I walk in the door of the ranch house. I take off my helmet and I say, good evening, ma'am. It's time for us to get started if we're going to reach Las Vegas by morning.
Fine, but you're supposed to look worried.
I will tomorrow.
Okay. Then I come in behind you and I say...
Evening, Hop. Tank.
Hello, Dixie.
Evening, Miss Davenport.
Tank, don't you think we know each other well enough for you to call me by my first name?
Oh, okay, Miss Dixie.
That's better. Now, what are you two doing here? Why aren't you over at the mess shack having dinner?
That's where I want to be, doggone it.
Tank has to memorize his lines first.
I see.
Say, any news about Regan?
Ivan thought it was terrific.
Huh?
Yes, he said it was the best publicity possible for the picture.
Publicity? Well, next time he can be the target.
Ivan was all ready to go out and shoot more holes into the plane and then take pictures for the newspapers.
Oh, but didn't he call the police?
Yes, after a while. But they were pretty lukewarm about it. Said they'd looked for Tex, of course, but I'm sure they think it was just a publicity stunt.
Hey, isn't that a plane engine starting up?
I'll say it is.
Oh, it's just Joe Bell, my pilot.
Oh, you going somewhere tonight?
No, but we're using the transport in tomorrow's shooting. He's checking the engine, so she'll be in good shape.
Is your horse in the plane?
Yes.
Well, don't he get nervous from all the noise?
Oh, not at all. He's used to it. Well, if you two aren't going over to dinner, I guess I'll have to eat by myself.
Oh, Hop, I'm awful hungry.
Your lines, Tank.
I'll remember them, I promise.
Well, okay. But we'll go over them again before we go to bed.
Yeah, sure. Let's go now, huh?
All right. You've got yourself company, Dixie.
Good, come on.
Dixie.
Yes?
What scenes are we going to shoot tomorrow? I didn't know we were going to use the transport.
One of Ivan's sudden inspirations, I guess. I didn't hear about it myself until Joe told me a few minutes ago when I put Sequoia in his talk.
Where does he get his inspirations from, anyway? The clouds?
Sometimes I wonder myself.
Hey, wait a minute.
What is it, Hop?
Tank, that plane's rolling.
Yeah, you're right.
Rolling? You mean it's taking off?
I'd say it's taking off.
But I don't understand. Why would Joe do that?
Come on. Maybe we can head it off.
No, that's too late. He's in the wind now, and he's wide open.
Good heavens, Sequoia. Sequoia's in that plane.
No, but Jetties, what's going on?
The answer's very simple, I'm afraid. Joe Bell is stealing the horse.
As the transport thunders down the strip and arcs up into the night sky, Hop, Tank, and Dixie stand helplessly watching the flickering blue flares of the engine exhaust slowly fade away. Joe Bell has stolen Sequoia. But why? Gang, there are thrills, suspense, and adventure ahead, so don't fail to listen to the next episode. Tune in and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airwaves. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine. of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay, this is Hop Harrigan. Coming in.
Yes, it's America's ace of the airways. Coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. Say, gang, we have a real surprise for you today. Yes, sir. Here in the studio with us is one of the men who pilots those giant DC-6s from coast to coast. Maybe his plane has flown over your house on one of his trips. Well, during this month, he's carrying a very special cargo. I'm going to let him tell you all about it. Gang, I'd like you to meet United Airlines Captain Charles Blades.
Hello, fellas and girls. You're right, Glenn. I do pilot the United Airlines DC-6. And during this month, I'd like to suggest that you keep a weather eye out for the United Airlines Red Feather planes.
Captain Blades, I've spoken to the fellows and girls about all types of aircraft, but I must admit I never heard of one being made out of a red feather.
Well, Glenn, I can certainly vouch for the fact that United planes aren't made out of red feathers. The red feather I'm talking about is the one that the famous radio songstress, Miss Ginny Simms, painted on the fuselage of a DC-6. After she gave that plane a send-off, numerous other United planes were also painted with a red feather symbol.
Well, now, about this red feather symbol, Captain, as I understand it, the red feather stands for the health, welfare, and recreational services of the community chest.
That's right, Glenn. And in a few minutes, I'll be back to tell you all about the current drive of the community chest.
And we'll be waiting for you. You heard that, gang. Captain Blades of United Airlines will be back a little later on in the program. And he has a great story to tell. So don't forget to listen. And now to our story. Like an evil shadow, trouble has dogged Hop's and Tank's footsteps since their arrival on location to begin work on a new movie. Trouble that reaches a climax on the evening of their first day at work. As you recall, Hop, Tank, and Dixie Davenport, the star of the picture, were walking over to the camp mess shack when suddenly they heard plane engines being revved. It was Dixie's plane, a reconverted Army C-47, which she used to transport her Wonder Horse, Sequoia. And before they could investigate, the twin-engine plane roared down the temporary airstrip and zoomed into the night sky.
Hop, Sequoia's in the plane. I put him in his stall a half hour ago.
Great Scott. Then somebody stole him.
Oh, no.
Take it easy. Don't jump to conclusions.
Well, how else can you figure it?
Hop, you must go after him. You've got a plane, please.
No, it's no use. We couldn't catch him. Dixie, you said Joe... That's your pilot's name, isn't it?
Joe Bell.
You said he was testing the engines to be sure the ship was ready for tomorrow's shooting.
That's what he told me.
Well, then maybe he's just taking her up on a flight check.
No, he would have said something.
Then why would he take the horse up with him?
Maybe he didn't. Let's have a look. There's a small corral over there, isn't there, Dixie?
Yes, where I exercise, Sequoia.
We'll need flashlights. It's awful dark over there.
Well, they're in our tent. Get them, will you, Tank?
Oh, sure. Meet you at the corral.
The plane's out of sight now, Hop.
Of course. He'd take her out on a wide sweep.
I'm so worried.
Look, Dixie, what do you know about your pilot?
Well, he's a pilot, that's all.
Has he been working for you long?
Over a year.
Ever had any trouble with him?
No, never.
Well, does he take care of Sequoia, too?
Yes, and very well. He has a fine way with him.
Certainly doesn't sound like he'd have any reason
Hop, the corral's empty. Sequoia isn't there. Oh, Hop, what are we going to do?
Hop.
Over here, Tank. Hurry up.
Coming.
Plane was usually parked near the corral, wasn't it, Dixie?
Yes.
Okay.
Find anything, Hop?
Sequoia isn't here. Give me a flash, please. Here. Come on now. We'll take a walk around.
Oh, Hop, what'll we do?
Try to get hold of yourself, Dixie. Panic won't help a bit.
Hey, Hop.
Yeah.
Here's where the plane was parked. Here are the wheel chocks, and the sand is streaked with oil from the engine.
Uh-huh. Say, look at those chocks.
Huh? What about it?
They're half buried in the sand. Looks like the pilot jumped the plane right over them.
For Pete's sake, why should he?
He was in a hurry, obviously.
Hop, this isn't getting us anywhere, and Sequoia's getting farther and farther away.
I'm afraid we can't do anything about that, Dixie. Go on, Tank. Keep looking.
Okay, but I wish I knew what for.
Honestly, Hop, if you don't stop wasting time looking for clues...
Dixie, why don't you go back to camp?
Go back?
And get hold of Ivanov and tell him what's happened. Tell him to call the police again and alert every airport and radio range station for 500 miles around.
Now you're cooking.
But I don't see how that'll help us find Sequoia.
Dixie, you can't hide a plane as big as a C-47. Find the plane and we'll find the horse. Now, go on. Be a good girl.
Oh, all right.
We'll be with you in a few minutes as soon as we're finished here.
All right, Hop, but please hurry.
Boy, she's really bothered, ain't she?
Can't blame her.
Hey, Hop.
Yeah?
What do you expect to find?
Something, anything, I don't know. Let's see, the ramp leading up into the fuselage was placed here.
Hey, Hop, look. What? There. A dame's mixed up in it.
What are you talking about?
I'll bet my bottom dollar on it. Get a load of this footprint. And that one. And that...
long pointed toe, small spiked heel.
If that ain't a dame shoe, I'll eat it. I'm not a bad detective, if I do say so myself.
No, Tank. These prints are too big. They're at least size 12.
Well, what? Only dames wear high heels.
Dames and cowboys.
Cowboys?
Yes. And look here, almost buried in the sand.
What is it?
A rowel.
A which?
A rowel.
Looks like a little wheel to me.
Yeah, it is. It's part of a spur.
You mean them little doohickeys cowboys wear on the heels of their boots to make the horses giddy up?
Check. And this cinches it. The footprints were made by a cowhand.
What are you getting so head up for? It's Joe Bell, Dixie's pilot.
Since when do you use spurs to pilot a plane? Come on, Tank, back to camp. We'll see how Dixie and Ivanov are doing.
Breaking into a run, Hop heads for the location camp with Tank lumbering heavily along behind him. Reaching the director's quarters, they are about to enter when they are stopped by Ivanov's ever-present assistant, Mr. Peabody.
Here, you can't disturb Mr. Ivanov. He's very busy.
I'm sorry, we've got to see him.
Well, that will be impossible. No one sees Mr. Ivanov without being summoned, and I know he didn't call you.
Well, that's just too bad. We're going in.
Over my dead body, you are.
Okay, then, over your dead body.
Oh, dear.
What is all this noise I'm hearing?
Oh, take it easy.
Oh, that awful voice of Mr. Tinker.
Hey, listen, you.
Tank, Mr. Ivanov, this is important.
Mr. Harrigan, what is important except Ivanov's pieces of mine?
Isn't Dixie, Miss Davenport here?
She is. We discuss matters of great importance.
Hop, is that you?
Yes.
Have you found anything?
Yes.
Oh, good. Come on in.
Oh, come in. Why for you stand out there?
Is he nuts? Come on, Tank.
Mr. Peabody?
Yes, sir?
My room is to be in wireless for the rest of the evening. I will see no one. No one.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Now, what is going on?
But didn't you tell him, Dixie?
Yes, but he won't listen to me.
Horses are playing such foolishness. Who would steal it a horse? Nobody would dare to do such a thing to Ivanov, except maybe a horse thief.
Listen, Mr. Ivanov, were you planning to use Dixie's transport tomorrow when you shoot?
No, I do not need the transport. Why do you ask?
Joe Bell said you told him to get the plane ready.
I told him nothing. Someone is putting words in my mouth.
Oh, making them up himself.
Then Joe did swipe Sequoia.
Oh, no.
Dixie, does Joe wear cowboy boots with spurs?
He wears boots, I think, but they're flying boots. They don't have any spurs on them.
Uh-oh.
Why do you ask?
We found this in the sand.
This? What is this?
A rowel.
A rowel?
No one
what
uses
for?
rowels in their spurs anymore. It's cruel to the horse. Those sharp points cut into their flesh.
Someone around here still uses them.
So talk who?
I hope Dixie could tell me.
Oh,
You know who?
I think so. There's only one man who wears that kind of spurs. Tex Regan.
That low-down horse beater.
Mr. Regan? Impossible.
Why?
Ivanov told him to leave this camp, did I not? No one dares to disobey an order from Ivanov.
I got news for you, pal. Regan did.
Oh, Hop, this is terrible.
Have you called the police?
Not yet. Yvonne wouldn't.
Who says I called him this minute?
No, wait.
Huh?
Let's figure this thing out if we can. Why did Regan take Sequoia? He's very valuable, isn't he, Dixie?
He's insured for $250,000.
Up and Jenny's a horse.
And you'd pay plenty to get him back unharmed, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes, anything.
I think that's what Regan's driving at.
All this talk, I called the police.
No, please, Mr. Ivanov. If this gets into the newspapers before Regan has a chance to contact us and negotiate for ransom, he might get scared and burn the plane and, well, get rid of Sequoia.
Oh, Hop, we've got to do something.
Dixie, millions of people have seen Sequoia in the movies. Everybody would recognize him. Regan can't hold on to him forever.
Of course, exactly.
Huh?
I am glad you see it my way, Mr. Harrigan.
But Hop figured it, not you.
Relax, Tank.
So, what do we do?
Wait. Stay here and wait for Regan to make the first move.
There's an air of finality in Hop's voice. Now Dixie at last realizes the helplessness of their situation. Suddenly she bursts out sobbing and hides her face in her hands. The great Ivanov tries to comfort his star, but in vain. Will Tex Regan contact them? We'll know more in just a moment, gang, so stand by. Fellas and girls, our special guest today is Captain Charles Blades of United Airlines. Earlier, Captain Blades told us about United Airlines' Red Feather planes. Well, now, Captain, will you tell us about some of the work the Community Chest is doing?
I'll be glad to, Glenn. The Red Feather stands for the Community Chest in your town. The Community Chest helps to support groups such as the Boy and Girl Scouts and the YMCA. So every time you go to one of them to play or swim, remember, it's the Community Chest which helps make it possible. I have a boy and girl of my own, And they're mighty glad we have a community chest in our town. But, fellows and girls, the community chest has to have money to support the Red Feather services in your town. So as one pilot to another, how about telling your folks to get behind community chest to support the Red Feather services?
Well, Captain Blades, I'd like to interject a thought here. You know, fellows and girls, the community chest needs $180 million to carry on its worthwhile and necessary job for 1948. That means everybody is expected to give whatever he can now.
That's right, Glenn. Everybody benefits when everybody gives. I'll be flying my big mainline, a DC-6 Red Feather plane, all over the country to make sure that folks remember. But if you boys and girls will fly all over town and tell everybody how much good Red Feather services do for them, you'll be helping yourself and your neighbor. Tell them to give to the community chest today. Well, it was swell talking to you fellows and girls, and if you wave to the Red Feather plane, I'll be waving right back. So long.
So long, Captain Blades, and wherever you may fly in your United Airlines Red Feather plane, happy landings. And fellas and girls, remember, give to the community chest. And always remember, America needs flyers. And now, back to our story. Evening has worn into deep night, night into dawn. Hop, Tank, Dixie Davenport, and Ivan Ivanov have kept a long vigil, waiting for word of Sequoia. Now, as the first rays of the morning sun tint the eastern hills with gold, Tank lumbers wearily to the door.
Oh, brother, I need some air.
What time it is?
Oh, a little after 6, Mr. Ivanov.
6? There is work to be done.
Oh, Ivan, how can you think of work now?
But the picture, my Dixie darling, the picture cannot stop.
Yes, it can. You certainly don't expect me to act when Sequoia's been kidnapped.
Dixie, you are an artiste, and the show must go.
No, it mustn't. Oh, Hop, you said we'd hear from Tex Regan, and we haven't. Sequoia's been gone almost 12 hours.
Be patient, Dixie.
I can't. This is driving me mad.
Mr. Harrigan says right, Dixie. We must wait, darling. Remember what they say? No news is better than none.
Hey, there's a horse coming this way.
Maybe it's Sequoia.
Where, Tank? Where? There. What's the matter with the rider? He slumped over.
Is it Sequoia? Is it?
No, Dixie. Come on, Tank. We've got to stop him and help the rider.
Right with you.
Hurry up.
Again. Mr. Tinker, Mr. Harrigan, be careful. I need you in the picture today.
Yeah. Whoa, you nag. Whoa.
There, boy. There. Hold him
Why,
tight.
Hop, it's Joe. Joe Bell.
Who?
Joe Bell, my pilot. Catch him. He's falling off.
Yeah, I got him.
He's out cold.
Hey, somebody better hold that horse. Grab him, Mr. Ivanov.
Me? I look like a horse mangler to you?
Please, Ivan. He'll run wild and hurt someone.
All right, darling. All right. Don't excite yourself.
Hop, how is he?
I think he's just plain exhausted. I can't see anything wrong with him.
But how did he get here, and where's Sequoia?
Hey, what's this sticking out of his pocket?
Well, it's an envelope addressed to you, Dixie.
Oh,
Here, read it.
I'm afraid, Hop.
Let me have it.
What's it say?
If you want to see your horse again alive, you'll follow orders that will come later. If you don't, I'll drop him right in your lap from 10,000 feet up.
Hop finishes reading and crumples the paper in his hand until his knuckles show white. So their worst fears have been realized. Sequoia has been kidnapped. Gang, there's a lot of suspense and excitement ahead, so be sure to listen to the next episode. Tune in and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways. So long, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine. Presenting Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airways.
CX-4 calling control tower. CX-4 calling control tower. Standing by.
Control tower, back to CX-4. Wind southeast, ceiling 1200. All clear.
Okay,
Coming in. Yes, it's America's ace of the airways. Coming in for another transcribed episode in the adventures of Hop Harrigan. You know, gang, in this modern age, there are so many uses for an airplane that you couldn't possibly count them all at one sitting. Here's a new one. Paul Radke of Liberal, Kansas, came up with an idea that brought in money for him and at the same time helped out many of the wheat farmers in his area. You see, June and early July in the wheat growing lands is harvest time. Everyone drops everything to get that wheat off the field because the harvest means money to the farmer. And if rain or poor conditions arise during the harvest season, the farmers are usually out of luck. Well, the whole idea is to harvest as quickly as possible. Besides bad weather, the farmers fear a breakdown of one of their machines. By car or train, it sometimes takes a few days for any replacements to get to the fields. And those few days could mean disaster. Now, getting back to Paul Radke, he's owner of the Liberal Aircraft Company. And for a month before the harvest season, he ran ads in local papers telling farmers of his new service. Radke offered to fly in parts and repairmen from many of the machine dealers in the territory in case some of the machines went on the blink. The idea caught on like wildfire. Before the harvest season started, about 50 farmers were asking Radke about his service, and many had parts flown in before they started work because they found it was cheaper than any other method. The dealers also went for the plan because it gave them a chance to get a jump on their rivals for the farmers' business. Well, I'll be back in a few minutes, gang, to tell you how Paul Radke's plan worked out. So don't forget to listen. And now to our story. When Hop and Tank accepted roles in a new motion picture being filmed on location in eastern California, they little realized they were walking into a hornet's nest. And their first day at work found them near victims of a murderous attack by Tex Regan, a disgruntled cowhand, discharged by Ivan Ivanov, the director. Then, that night, Sequoia, Dixie Davenport's wonder horse, was stolen, apparently by Joe Bell, her personal pilot. But early the following morning, Joe returned to the location camp, slung across the back of a horse, unconscious. Now, as we continue, Hop and Tank are in Dixie's quarters, standing by as the movie star bathes Joe's head, trying to revive him.
He isn't responding, Hop. What'll we do?
Wait. Ivanov sent for a doctor, didn't he?
Yes, but he'll have to come from Crucero. He'll be at least another half hour.
I'd still like to know what happened to the guy. Where's the plane?
Where's Sequoia? That's more important.
Oh, yeah. Joe's the only one who can tell us, I'm afraid.
Why doesn't he wake up? Hop, suppose he doesn't. Suppose he never...
Dixie, stop it. I'm sure he'll be all right. His pulse is almost normal. No signs of shock that I can see.
So why don't he snap out of it?
Oh, he is. Listen.
It's about time.
Joe. Joe, can you hear me?
That's you, Miss Dixie?
Yes, Joe. How do you feel?
All right, I guess.
Oh, my head.
Don't try to sit up, Joe. Lie back and take it easy.
Thank you, ma'am. Who's that?
Friends of mine, Hop Harrigan and Tank Tinker.
Hello, Joe.
Hi.
Joe, tell me, where's Sequoia?
I don't know, ma'am.
What do you mean you don't know? Where is he?
Easy, Dixie.
But Hop, it's
Joe,
like...
do you feel well enough to talk?
I'll be all right.
Then let's go back to the beginning. Tell us everything that's happened and take your time.
Well, I was lying in my bunk on the plane. I didn't have nothing to do. You didn't bring Sequoia back yet, ma'am, when all of a sudden somebody was standing right beside me with a gun in his hand.
Who was it?
I couldn't tell. He had a black scarf over his face.
What was he wearing?
Regular cowboy outfit, like all the extras.
Go on, Joe.
At first I thought it was a gag or something, but then he told me to start the engines. Said if I didn't, he'd kill me. There wasn't anything I could do, ma'am. He had a gun.
Oh, of course, Joe.
Then you came up with Sequoia, and he made me go out and tell you that Mr. Ivanov ordered me to test the engines because we were going to use the plane tomorrow. I had to do it, Miss Dixie. He was holding his gun on me all the time.
I understand.
Then what?
Well, after the engines were warmed up, he made me take off.
Where'd you go?
I don't know.
You don't know? You were flying the plane, weren't you?
Then you watched the compass?
He kept the compass covered. I couldn't see the ground. It was dark. He just kept giving me directions. Turn this way, turn that way. I got all mixed up.
And then?
Well, then he said we were going to land. I dumped some flares overboard and came down on a level field. There was a ranch house near it. I could see the lights.
Well?
Well, that's all.
What do you mean, that's all? How'd you get back here? Where'd you pick up the horse?
Sequoia? I don't know where he is.
No, you rode back here on a sorrel mare about a half hour ago. You were unconscious.
I don't know, Miss Dixie. Honest, I don't. Last I remember was cutting the switches in the plane, and then I blacked out.
But what about Sequoia?
I told you, ma'am, I don't know. Last I remember, he was all right.
Well, do you have any idea where you landed, Joe?
No.
How long was you flying?
Oh, maybe an hour, maybe a little more.
That don't add up.
Why not?
A C-47's got a range of about 165 miles an hour at cruising speed. If you had to ride 165 miles on a horse, you wouldn't have been back so soon.
Well, Joe said he made a lot of turns. He may have doubled back.
Yeah, that's what must have happened.
Joe, what about this note?
What note?
Well, you found it in your pocket. It was addressed to Miss Davenport.
I never saw it before.
The note asks Miss Davenport to follow certain instructions, or Sequoia will be killed.
But what instructions?
Well, I wondered if Joe might have some idea.
I told you I never saw the note before.
Okay, pal, okay. Take it easy.
Oh, Hop, what'll we do? You said Joe was the only one who could help us find Sequoia, and now...
Now I'm afraid we'll just have to wait for those instructions.
But when will I get them, Hop? I can't stand it any longer.
Somebody's at the door.
Oh, maybe it's the instructions.
Why does nobody answer when Ivanov knocks?
Oh, Ivan.
Dixie, my darling, for why you cry?
Sequoia. They're going to kill Sequoia.
Now, Dixie, my darling, you must not cry. You spoil your pretty face. Come, smile. Nothing is so bad as all that. Remember, it is always darkest before the daytime. You, Mr. Harrigan, what have you been saying to my Dixie so she cries?
Nothing. But Joe can't tell us anything about the horse. We don't know what to do now.
No, we call the police. We call FBI. No, I, Ivanov, will call Mr. President Truman personal. We get the Army and the Navy. We will find Sequoia, or my name is not Ivan Ivanov.
Ivan, it wouldn't work.
Of course it would work. I am an American citizen. I pay my taxes. If Ivanov wants the Army, he shall get the Army.
Ivan, don't you remember what Hop said? If there's any publicity, whoever stole Sequoia might get frightened and kill him.
Where do you get that whoever routine? It was Tex Regan.
So, we find him.
I'm afraid we'll have to wait until he contacts us, sir.
You think so, huh?
Yes.
Hop is right, Ivan.
I said no. So we wait. But you should not think of this any longer, my darling. Come, we go to work.
Work?
Of course. If you sit here, you worry. You chew your nails down to the elbow. We work and take your mind off your travels. Come.
Oh, Ivan, I couldn't.
Oh, why not, Dixie? It'll be better for you.
Mr. Harrigan is a smart man. So, it is settled. Come.
All right, I'll try.
Excellent. And I make you act today like you never acted before.
Just give me a couple of minutes and let me fix my makeup.
Of course. Look your beautifulest. Come, Mr. Harrigan, Mr. Tinker.
What about Joe?
I'll be all right if I can rest a while longer.
Of course, Joe. You stay right where you are.
Thanks, Miss Dixie.
Come, gentlemen.
I won't be long, Ivan.
Take your time, Dixie. Take your time. Ah, wonderful girl, Dixie. Such spirit. She is the salt of the ground.
Yeah, she's a great girl, all right.
You go down now to the set, please, Mr. Harrigan, and get ready. I will join you there, presumably.
Yes, sir.
And do not dally-dilly. This morning, Ivanov has inspiration.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Ivanov. That character gets more inspirations. Hey, why the sourpuss, huh?
No, I was just thinking.
Dixie and her horse, huh?
Sure.
What a mess.
To say the least. Tank.
Yeah?
There's more here than meets the eye.
Huh?
Somebody slipped an extra joker in the deck, pal. The deal's way off. Something funny going on around here. I'd give my right arm to know what it is.
Hop's words are puzzling. His usually clear face is creased with lines of worry as he leads the way through camp to the movie set. What does he mean? What does he suspect? There's a startling surprise ahead, gang, so stand by. Now, gang, let's get back to Paul Radke, owner of the Liberal Aircraft Company in Liberal, Kansas, who got the idea of flying spare parts and repairmen to farmers whose machinery had broken down, saving them many days in some cases. Getting down to facts, the delivery plan was very simple. In the event of a breakdown in the field, the farmer had only to call the Liberal Aircraft Company, describe the part he needed, and give his location. Then he would raise a white flag next to the broken machine and wait. Usually he didn't have long to wait because Liberal's efficient staff was on the job. And in a few hours, the part was flown into the field. Farmers found how cheap this fast, efficient service was when they got their bills. All they paid for was the part they bought and 7 1/2 cents a mile for the round trip. On one rush job Radke had, a wheat harvester was about to leave his field without cutting the wheat. His combine had broken down, and he figured it would take days to get it fixed. Well, when he found he could have a good part flown in, he decided to stick it out. The next morning, the plane landed at 8 o'clock, and just 1 hour later, the combine was in operation. Now that the harvest is over for another season, Mr. Radke is planning new services for his community. Already, he has flown farmers over their land so they can figure out the best way of plowing it. And for a farmer, that's mighty important. The airplane owner has also flown car dealers to distribution points to pick up new cars. And he's got several other projects underway to increase the use of the modern airplane. Say, fellas and girls, you can see how important aviation will be in our future. So if you've got any interest in it, get ready to take your place in the sky. For always remember, America needs flyers. And now back to our story. It is a few minutes later. Hop and Tank are on the movie set, surrounded by batteries of high-powered lights, facing the camera, ready to go into action. The booming voice of the director, Ivan Ivanov, can easily be heard above all the rustle and activity.
Oh, yes, guys, why do they make so much fuss? Why don't they just take pictures and get it over with?
Well, there's always a lot of advanced preparation, Tank.
A lot of nonsense, if you ask me. Doggone it, why did that makeup guy put so much powder on my face? It's up my nose.
Hey, if you have to sneeze, do it now. Don't wait and ruin a take.
Hey, look, when a sneeze comes, it comes. I can't do nothing about it.
We are ready. Where is Dixie?
Fixing her makeup, remember?
Mr. Peabody?
Yes, sir.
Walk to Miss Davenport's dressing room. Tell her we are ready.
Very well, sir. Very well.
Now, Mr. Harrigan, Mr. Tinker, you know what you should do?
Yes, sir.
I think so.
You think so? Mr. Tinker, I do not pay you to think. You know or you do not know?
All right, I know.
Good. First, we will rehearse the scene a few times. And when I feel you are ready, we make movie pictures. And Mr. Tinker.
Yeah?
Please, to remember, do not look at the camera all the time. The people do not wish to see your face.
They gotta say something, don't they?
You should not worry. There is enough of you to see.
Mr. Ivanov. Oh, dear, Mr. Ivanov.
What? Mr. Peabody, you have called Miss Davenport?
No, sir. No, sir, I haven't.
You say no? You think I send you out for a walk, so get her.
But you don't understand, Mr. Ivanov. She isn't there.
What?
Miss Davenport isn't there. She's left camp.
A sudden hush falls on the busy movie set as Mr. Peabody breaks the startling news. Hop and Tank look at each other, bewildered. Dixie has left camp. But why? And where's she gone? Gang, there's mystery ahead and plenty of action, so don't fail to listen to our next episode. Tune in and fly with Hop Harrigan, America's ace of the airwaves. Hold on, Hop. We'll be seeing you same time, same mutual station. Hop Harrigan is a transcribed, copyrighted feature appearing in All American Comics magazine.